Hi there. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate a little bit about Microsoft Word. I'll create a new document. I'm going to copy and paste some text into the document. We'll take a look at views and zooming, character level formatting, paragraph level formatting, and bullets and numbering, as well as inserting an image and wrapping the text around the image. So I'm going to fire up Word. I've got an icon in my taskbar, but you can also find it under your Start menu. When you fire up Word, it gives you an option about what you want to do. There's a bunch of things you can take a look at on your own. I want to create a brand new blank document. Also notice under the New section here on the left, we have a bunch of templates. So if you don't want to start your document from scratch, instead you want to fill in some form fields with your own content, you can create a template, and you see blank document is here as well. So I'm going to choose blank document. Now I'm going to go and copy and paste some text from the text file, which is one of the files that I'll have you download for this course. So I'm just going to quickly use my File Explorer. So I'm just clicking on my folder icon on my taskbar, and I've got it under Langara BSAD MS Word. And again, this is part of one of the files that I have you download. So when I double click on that, it opens up in Notepad. That's the application I've associated with text files, and I'm just going to copy and paste it. So if I choose Edit, select All or Control A, and Edit, Copy, or Control C. I'm done with this document. I'll close it. I'm done with my File Explorer. I'll close it. And we have a few paste options. If you choose this icon right here, it'll paste the text as it appeared in Notepad. But if you click on the little triangle here, I refer to this as twirling. So if I twirl the icon here, this will paste just the content, no formatting. So I'm going to choose that one. So I get unformatted content. Basically, I get the content, but none of the appearance has been affected. Now, notice that I have this little, I'm on my home ribbon right now, and I have this little icon pushed in. So this is one of the views we'll look at. This is Show Hide. So what that does is it shows you every time you hit your space bar, your tab, and your enter key to give yourself a new paragraph or a new line. So it reveals non-printing characters. Those non-printing characters are always there, but we can show them and hide them by toggling that on. We're not getting rid of them when we hide them. They're still there. We just don't see them. Now you'll notice that each of these lines only has one paragraph mark. Even though it looks like this is double spaced, we don't hit enter twice. This is line spacing. So to add white space, we increase the space between paragraphs or lines. These are lines in the same paragraph. These are between paragraphs. Basically everything after that little character there. So we never hit enter twice using any document publishing, that is text document publishing application. When you do that, it's adding content to change the appearance. We want to keep content separate from appearance for a variety of reasons, which I'll get into later on. So I've got my document, my content pasted into my document. Let's take a look at some other views. I'm just going to turn this off. I like to keep that off because it's a little easier to read and to focus on what I'm doing. Now we have a couple of views down here as well, is the ability to zoom in and out. So read mode is useful if you want to just read some content without being distracted by the tools that are available. Basically, it gives you a nice lean layout so you can read. Print layout is what we were looking at, so it gives you an indication of where the edge of the page is. So it basically gives you a picture of the page. And then we have web layout. So if you're creating web pages with Microsoft Word, which is something you can do, we have that web layout. And this will basically allow us to add a background color, background images, stuff like that. I'm going to go back to print layout. Now we also have the ability to zoom. So if you want to drag this little slider, you can zoom in and out. Also, if you click on the little number there, we have a bunch of preset options. So I can go into 200% or back to 100%. And we also have a couple of other options here. Page width, which is something I like to use when I'm reading. Text width, which basically zooms the text to fit the width of the window. And we can also use, if you hold down Control on your keyboard and scroll the little wheel between your right and left mouse buttons, I call that Control Scroll, and that works in a lot of different applications, including your web browser. I'm going to go back to 100%. So those are some of the zoom options. Again, show hide, read mode, print layout, web layout, and zooming in to custom levels. So again, I'm on my home ribbon here. Now there's a few things we can do with our content. We can use this area here to change the appearance of text as little as one character at a time. Or we can use this section here to change an entire paragraph. So if I have my cursor in one paragraph, basically blinking inside of a paragraph, this stuff will affect that entire basically block of text. Or for example, if I have this amount selected, both paragraphs will be affected when I change this stuff. So let me just quickly show you some of the things we can do with character and paragraph formatting. So I'm just going to change the word reasons. Again, we can select as little as one character, but I'll select an entire word. Generally, you don't want to change the appearance of just one character, although there are some situations where you do want to do that. So in order to select just a word, you can just double click. That works with most text editing applications. So now I have that one word selected, and I'm just going to quickly change everything I can about that character there. Those characters, I should say. So I can change the font face, I can change the font size, or increase it a bit at a time, or decrease it a bit at a time, or change the case. So I go lowercase, depending on what font face you have, you may not see that. So sentence case, let me just quickly change that. Aharoni is what I want. No, it doesn't like my Aharoni. I'll go with Adobe Gothic. There we go. So sentence case is first letter of a sentence capitalized, lowercase, uppercase, and in case you accidentally have the caps lock on as you type, you can quickly switch it back to the way it should be using that one, or capitalize each word. That's useful for titles. I'm just going to go back to sentence case here. This little key here removes all the formatting, so that'll go back to the way it was. And then we have bold, italic, underline. It's rare that you would use all four generally, or all three I should say. Generally you just use one or the other. Underlines aren't so useful anymore. This is back when we had typewriters. We used underline for emphasis, but now we have bold and italic, so we don't need to use that. This strike through is when you're working on a document with multiple people. You can show what you want to remove or what you've changed. And then we have some interesting filters as well as our color. So basically that's the font section. Again, it applies to the presently selected characters. It could be as little as one character, but generally a word. I'm just going to remove all that stuff by using my little clear all formatting. Now inversely, I'm just going to select maybe, there we go. I'm just going to select these two paragraphs here. So as long as I have one character or my cursor blinking inside of a paragraph, that entire paragraph is selected. So even though I just have a couple of characters in those two paragraphs, what I do in this section here will affect those entire paragraphs. So I'll just quickly show you with the alignment. So center, that centers both paragraphs. Left alignment, this is like newspaper columns, useful when we have multiple columns. And there's this makes text very readable, by the way. We have space between the paragraphs. So if I go to line spacing options and go to 0 points, and maybe I'll change the line spacing. That's the spacing here within a paragraph. This is the spacing between the paragraphs. So this after will affect this paragraph as well as that paragraph. So you'll see that these squeeze together. I'm just going to go to 1.5. That makes text very readable. So when I choose OK, you'll see that this changes. So again, line spacing, paragraph spacing. And I'm going to go back and make that 1.15 again. That was what it was when I first opened, and I'm going to make that 12 points. So they squeeze together and it gives you 12 points. So we also have this is borders for paragraphs and shading for paragraphs. So if you want to add some color behind a paragraph, so again we have two paragraphs selected, so that adds that color behind both paragraphs. Or underline, so that'll be an underline below the two sets of paragraphs, or you can put a box around the entire thing, something like that. So basically everything you do here will affect the presently selected paragraphs. You can select as little as one word or one character, and this is character level formatting. I'm just going to bring this back to the way it was. So this works with both paragraph and character formatting. When I choose clear all formatting, that'll take care of character and for paragraph. And now it's back to the way it was. Now we also have something called indents. They're not used so much these days, but we'll be getting into tabs, which kind of work hand in hand with indents. But basically we have this ruler. I have this ruler visible presently. If you don't presently have your ruler visible, it's turned off by default. If you go to view, and I'm just going to make this a little wider so you can see my ruler. There we go. Notice I have under the show section, ruler is checked off. So that's why I have this little ruler, so you can turn that on so you can see it. I'm just going to go back to the same width there. So this is the top, basically the very first line. This top triangle is the very first line. That'll affect the first line of every paragraph that you have selected. This is every other line except the top. And then this one moves both of them at the same time. So that'll just squeeze in the paragraph. So let me just select I'll select 4 paragraphs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And by the way, when I say paragraph, I mean the structural sense, not the English sense. So if I drag that in, you'll notice that the whole left side of those paragraphs gets squeezed into wherever I let go of the mouse. And we also have one over here as well. So again, that's affected the all of the paragraphs I have selected. So that's top and all other lines. Now, if I drag that first little triangle, you'll see it's just the first line of each selected paragraph gets adjusted. Or inversely, if I drag that bottom triangle, every line but the first line, known as a hanging indent. So those are indents in a nutshell. We'll get into those in more detail when we look at tabs in the next demonstration. Now we also have the ability to add numbers or little symbols called bullets before various paragraphs. So I want to make all of these items here part of a list. So if I go back to my home screen, we have a bulleted list. So if I choose that one there, that indents these, notice I get little indents, as well as throws a symbol and then indents the line a little further from the symbol. So that's why we use the hanging indent in that situation. Or if you want to make this an ordered list, that is, one of these things has more importance over the other, you can choose that numbering. Now, one other thing is we have images. I'm just going to insert an image right here. So if you want to insert an image into a particular location in your document, what you do is you click in a sentence or in a piece of text where you want that image to reside. So that'll be the top left corner of the image. Actually, it'll be the bottom left corner. When we insert an image into a Word document, the image acts like a character, like a large character. So let's go and insert, and I'm going to choose online pictures like I did in OneNote, and I'm going to type in sugar, and I'm going to go ahead and use these sugar cubes here. So notice it came in like a big character. I'm just going to resize it again, just like I did with OneNote. Now I want to resize the width and the height proportionally. So sometimes they go out of whack with each other. If that happens, what you want to do is hold down Shift and then click and drag. I'm just going to click and drag into the center there until the image is a good size. Now again, what happens when you insert an image into a document, it acts like a big character. So imagine it's a big letter E or something like that. But I want to make my own space for the image. I want the text to wrap around the image as opposed to it pushing the text away from the image. So once you have an image and you've inserted it, this little context sensitive toolbar will pop up. There's actually two of them. You see that there's a little drawing. So this is a brand new tab here, and then it's got two more tabs to take care of everything we can do with an image. So the one on the right has wrap text, and I'm going to choose, I always like to use tight. Once you do that, if you mouse into your image, you get a four-headed arrow and you can drag it wherever you like. So I think that's a good spot for that image. We also have under, I'm just going to make my window a little bigger so you can see it. We also have this picture styles section when we have that picture format selected. So we have a bunch of, they're kind of like filters, effects that you can apply to your image if you like. I like the way this looks presently, but just to demonstrate the different sort of effects we can throw on these images. And as you mouse over, it gives you a preview. So when you find one you like, I'm going to go with maybe that one or this one or something. You could just choose that. So really the only way to remove that style is to go undo. And I'm just going to reset my window to be back to the way it was, so we can see it a little better. And now that pretty much takes care of everything I wanted to show you. So again, we created a new document, and then we opened up a text file, and we copied and pasted some text from that text file into our new document. We looked at a couple of views, character formatting, paragraph formatting. indents, line spacing, bullets and numbering, as well as inserting an image and changing its wrapping style. So I'm going to quickly save this document. So if you just click on your little disk button here at the top of the screen, this is known as the title bar. And I'll browse. I always put my stuff in the same place for this course, which is Langara BSAD word for word. Langara BSAD and MS Word. And I'll call this session 1A, because we're going to have another demonstration with a different document. And I'll choose save. Okay. And that's as much as I wanted to show you. Thanks so much for watching.